stand. Stand as you are able, remove your hats and headgear. And Miss Alana Peter and the Lakeview Concert Band are going to start us off with the national anthem. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. You may be seated. All of us at Lakeview would like to welcome all of our veterans, our students, teachers, staff, community members, and families. Veterans Day was originally called Armistice Day, commemorating the end of World War I. World War I officially ended when the Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28, 1919. However, the fighting ended about 7 months before. That's when the Allies in Germany put into effect the armistice on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. For that reason, November 11th, 1918 was largely considered the end of the war to end all wars. But then World War II and the Korean War happened, so on June 1, 1954, at the urging of the veteran service organizations, Congress amended the commemoration yet again by changing the word armistice to veterans, so that they would honor American veterans of all wars. All of us at Lakeview have the opportunity to thank and honor those who have selflessly served the United States of America. If you are a veteran or an active service, please stand at this time. Let's give them a round of applause and thank you for your service. At this time, it's a privilege to introduce our guest speaker, Chaplain Kelly Wasberg. Chaplain Wasberg took the oath of office on March 4th, 2004. He has served as a brigade and battalion and family and life chaplain in various Army National Guard units in Cambridge, Rosemount, Montevideo, and Camp Ripley. Chaplain Wasberg deployed for 12 months in 2009 to Kuwait and Iraq with the 151st Field Artillery Unit, where he earned the Meritorious Service Medal. Recently, he provided stateside support for soldiers during the civil unrest following the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis and the COVID relief mission for care centers in Minnesota. Chaplain Wasberg looks forward to supporting the Norwegian exchange program at Camp Ripley coming up in February. Kelly and his wonderful wife, Bonnie, who teaches at Lakeview, have 3 grown children, Annalise, Sadie Mae, and Carter. They make their home in Marshall, Minnesota, and they enjoy camping, bicycling, traveling to see their kids, and making and eating delicious, nutritious food. Kelly is currently employed as a hospice chaplain with the Avera Marshall Regional Medical Center. It's my privilege to welcome up Chaplain Kelly Wasberg.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fensky. Good morning, everybody. I have a question. Since I am the other Wasberg, I get to ask you this. I have the Wasberg's permission to ask you this. Is it a great day to be a Laker? Okay, good. She comes home some days, and it's been a pretty good day to be a Laker. Not every day is a great day, but I think today is a great day to be a Laker. Thanks for having me here this morning. So as a husband, chaplain, pastor, veteran, and I guess pretty much regular guy sometimes, I've had the privilege of serving alongside some of the most amazing people I could ever meet. Sometimes the most interesting people I've met as well. I've witnessed firsthand that the only people who are often more amazing or as amazing than veterans are those who love them, those who wait for them at home, their wives, husbands, kids, friends, employers, and probably even their pets, but maybe not cats. So what makes veterans and their families so remarkable? Is it their skill set, their training with things they've learned how to do their jobs well? Is it their smarts, their intelligence, their courage, or their bravery, or any of those things? What do you think? I mean, they're part of it, but what I want to suggest to you, that what makes amazing veterans and their families and their loved ones, what makes an amazing country, is putting others before yourself. It's 3 words today: others before self. See, putting others first is not something veterans do for their country necessarily. That's probably part of it. So what I've learned in my time in the Army is that thinking of others before self is not really something you can do for pay and benefits, because those are good things, but it's not enough. You can't give somebody enough to be away from their family for long periods of time. It's what we do because it's the only thing that changes the world. Others before self. It's what we do because of love. That's the big secret to serving, by the way. If the 3 words are a challenge for you this morning, remember this one: love. Love is the why veterans serve. Love for freedom, love for country, for brothers and sisters at arms, love for God, but not always in that order. Love is why veterans kind of slog through the mud in those cool videos you might have seen. It's why they spend days, weeks, months away from home. It's why they endure hardships, face dangers, and think about gunpowder, and risk coming home from deployments a little broken or a lot broken, or not coming home at all. And sometimes for a cause that few people understand and fewer still support. Others before self. It's the soldier's why. And if you ask soldiers and veterans and their family members, why do they do it? Why do they go out and serve? Why do they put themselves in harm's way? The answer really will come down eventually, I think, to that simple word, love. Even though the answer is different for every veteran or service member, whether they went to war or not. Sometimes it's a very personal reason, sometimes it's legacy, but it's almost always because it's the right thing to do. It's sometimes because nobody else has stepped up to do it. But here's what I've learned over the years listening to soldiers. It's almost always because of the person on their left and on their right, the person next to them. Now in the Army, we call that a battle buddy. So I have a question for you, Lakers and guests and community members. Do you have a battle buddy? Do you have someone that you can call at 3 a.m. on speed dial? If not, think about it and get one. I picked up a poem here this past week. It's been going around YouTube and Facebook, and maybe you saw it. And it kind of talks about how life slips by quickly and how you should, of course, then live life to the fullest. It's kind of a longer version of YOLO. I don't know, are people still saying YOLO? You only live once? I don't know. It's a version of what we used to say when, you know what Converse tennis shoes are? See, when I was in high school, those were like really cool basketball shoes, like serious shoes. Now they're just a fashion statement, right? We used to say, go for it in those days. So here's that poem. It says, you work 8 hours to live 4. You work 6 days to live 1. You work 8 hours to eat for only 15 minutes. You work 8 hours to sleep 5. You work all year just to take 1 or 2 weeks of vacation. You work all your life to retire in old age and contemplate your last breaths. I don't know who wrote this poem, but it's a little dark. And I don't think they know about others before self. Here's how it ends. It says, eventually you realize that life is nothing but a parody of yourself practicing your own oblivion. We've become so accustomed to material and social slavery that we no longer see the chains. Life is a short journey, so live it. Now that part I can kind of understand, and that's probably a good reason to live life, because it is short, it goes fast, you don't have a lot of time off, so while you're living it, live it. Others before self. So fellow veterans, Laker Nation, community members, and families, I hope that's not your creed, the poem I just read, that is. I hope you come to understand your why and know who your battle buddy is. Because life does go by very quickly. It's the reason we live it like there's nothing like it, because there's nothing like it. As a chaplain in the Army, I get paid, trained, and sent to remind and encourage soldiers, from the private to the commanding general, that there's nothing more valuable than the welfare of the human beings to their left and their right, the human beings that they're under their command, life itself, and those at the other end of the weapons that we train on. I have the privilege as a chaplain of talking to anybody who wants to about the one who laid down his life for his friends, the Lord Jesus Christ, the supreme expression for all of time of what we come to know as no greater love. You may want to Google that sometime. It's in a book. No greater love is the expression of others before self. And it's enough to get a veteran up in the morning to work 8 or 14 or 20 hours a day, if needed, to get a little bit of shut-eye and a little bit of grub or chow and continue on the mission for the sake of those that are depending on him or her. No greater love is enough love to keep you sane when you leave your family for months or years and come home changed and see that some of the folks you've come home to have changed as well. No greater love is enough love to serve in the name of a country that occasionally forgets the reason our flag has red stripes under 50 stars. It's because a soldier, an airman, a Marine, or a sailor shed their blood in place of someone else. So tomorrow, our nation recognizes and remembers, as we should, and every year we acknowledge our debt of gratitude to the individuals that have kept the enemies of freedom on foreign shores, the soldiers, airmen, sailors, Marine, and Coast Guardsmen of the United States of America, and their families, who continue to demonstrate their patriotism, love of country, willingness to serve, and the courage needed to risk it all for the common good of the greatest nation in the world. That's where you live, folks. Veterans Day belongs to them and us. One combat veteran put it this way: on Memorial Day, we remember those who have given the ultimate sacrifice of their lives. On Veterans Day, we honor those who made it home. I recall a long time ago, my own mother told me that her mother, my grandmother, sent 4 of her 6 sons to fight in World War II in Korea, and all 4 came home. Her own husband, my grandfather, fought in the trenches of World War I. My own dad and brother were also in the unit that I enlisted in or took the oath of office in nearly 20 years ago in Madison, Minnesota. Their combined why inspired me to seek a commission myself following the attack on our nation on 9/11. So Lakers, community members, veterans, and family members, life does go by very quickly, but there is one thing you can do about it. Slow down just enough to know your why. It's the only way to uncover why life is so very precious, the most precious thing next to God. So never let a day pass without adding to its already immense and incalculable value. And if you choose to, as I have, to live it in the name of the one who showed no greater love by dying so that you could learn how to live. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chaplain Wasberg. At this time, it's my privilege to call upon our Lakeview Concert Choir under the direction of Mrs. Krishana Dempsey, as they will be singing an American hymn. Thank you, Mrs. Dempsey and the Lakeview Concert Choir. Fabulous job. Next in our program is the Lakeview Concert Band again, under the direction of Miss Alana Peter, and they will be performing Armed Forces on Parade, a service medley. Thank you, Miss Peter and the concert band. Great job. Can we give one more round of applause for our choir and our band? As we close, I'd just like to thank again Chaplain Wasberg and community members, students for your attention and for attending this morning. If you're a veteran again and you're able, please stand. Just ask as we look around, I'm just going to close with this if you want to remain standing. It's said fewer than 10% of Americans can claim the title as veteran. Veterans have sacrificed to give us freedom, to give us security in the greatest nation on earth. And it's impossible to put a price tag on that. We must remember them, we must honor them, and we must appreciate them. Let's give our veterans one more round of applause. Thank you for being here. God bless our veterans, and may God bless America. Thank you.